Watch Whoopi Goldberg handle a personal attack from Donald Trump with grace and precision. This is a moment you won't forget. It was meant to be just another talk show, but everything changed when Donald Trump interrupted Whoopi Goldberg mid-question. What followed was a personal insult that threw the audience into silence.
Her mouth was so foul, every word out of her mouth was like the F word, this. I was with a group of people, like sort of nice people, and we had to leave.
But instead of reacting with anger, Whoopi calmly asked a question that left even Trump speechless. This is a moment you have to see to believe. The studio was buzzing with the usual pre-show excitement. The audience was expecting the typical lighthearted exchanges, a few jokes, and the usual political talk. But then Trump appeared, and the energy in the room shifted. His presence was commanding, and everyone knew it was going to be anything but routine. Whoopi sat across from him, composed and ready. Known for her sharp mind and quick wit, she was prepared to face him head-on, expecting a tense discussion about leadership and honesty. The conversation began smoothly. Trump answered questions confidently, and Whoopi guided the discussion with her usual poise. For a moment, it felt like a typical talk show, but then Whoopi asked a pointed question, one that carried real weight. The room grew quieter, sensing the shift in the air. Before she could finish, Trump interrupted loudly and forcefully, trying to take control.
She was so filthy dirty, disgusting. Half the place left. I said I'd never hire her again, but she was so dirty. Every word was filthy dirty, and I left. And then I see her sitting about, oh, Whoopi, oh, what a loser she is.
The audience stiffened, waiting for the next move. Whoopi didn't flinch. She remained calm, listening instead of reacting. This wasn't just an interruption. It was an assertion of dominance, an attempt to steer the conversation off course. But Whoopi's quiet confidence was unshaken. The tension in the room grew, but it was clear she wasn't backing down. She had the space to respond, and everyone knew this moment could define the direction of the show. Instead of reacting with frustration or anger, Whoopi took a brief, deliberate pause. She didn't rush into a response. She let the weight of the situation build. Trump, confident in his interruption, smirked as if he'd won the moment. But Whoopi wasn't done. She had the floor now, and she knew how to use it. Then she spoke.
I was filthy, and stand on that fact. I have always. And you knew that when you hired me.
Calm and measured. If you're so sure about everything, she asked, then why have you never agreed to a DNA test for Barron? The room froze. Trump's confident smirk faltered as the question hit like a jolt. Whoopi wasn't trying to provoke drama. She was seeking clarity, challenging him to answer honestly. The audience could feel the shift immediately. Trump, taken off guard, tried to deflect with humor and sarcasm, but his usual tactics fell flat. Whoopi wasn't rattled. She repeated her question with unwavering clarity. Do the test. Prove us wrong. That's all. Her calm insistence carried more weight than any loud remark or deflection Trump could muster. The dynamic had shifted. Where Trump had once dominated the conversation with loud interruptions, Whoopi had shifted the focus to truth, honesty, and accountability. Her composed response became the turning point of the exchange, changing the energy in the room. The audience, once uncertain and tense, began to lean in, recognizing Whoopi's quiet strength. Trump, increasingly flustered, attempted more jabs, but they lacked the force they once had. Whoopi's calmness had not only neutralized his interruptions, but had turned them into opportunities for her to assert clarity and truth. The power of her response was in its simplicity. She didn't yell or insult. She didn't escalate the situation. She simply presented a straightforward challenge, grounded in truth. By now, the audience was completely focused on Whoopi. Her composure and the clarity of her words had created a space where truth and integrity held more power than aggression. Trump's usual dominance had been replaced by a subtle but undeniable shift in authority. The audience respected her for not being dragged into chaos, for asserting herself without losing composure. Later, when asked about her response, Whoopi said, "The truth speaks loud enough." This simple statement captured the essence of the entire exchange. Whoopi didn't need to shout to make her point. The clarity and calmness of her words had already done that for her. What began as a personal attack had become a lesson in composure, patience, and the power of well-chosen words. In the days that followed, the conversation didn't focus on the insult or Trump's interruption. It was about Whoopi's response, her ability to remain calm, assert truth, and demand clarity in the face of aggression. The impact of her words went beyond the studio, reminding everyone that strength isn't always about volume or dominance. Sometimes, it's about standing firm with patience, thoughtfulness, and clarity. The exchange became a powerful reminder that strength doesn't always come from raising your voice. Sometimes, the most powerful move is to stay composed, speak clearly, and let your words carry their weight. And in this case, Whoopi showed everyone that integrity and calmness can not only control the conversation, they can shift the entire energy of a room.